Hey guys, welcome to another edition of the Pelvic Yogi Podcast. This is your host, Amy Bailey, and I just wanted to remind everyone the podcast name has changed from the Nashville Women's Health Podcast to the Pelvic Yogi Podcast, and that was just thanks to many of y'all listeners who are elsewhere besides Nashville. So just growing a bigger audience needs some growing changes as well. So anyway, without further ado, I have Rachel Ramsey on the podcast today. She is with the Newborn Nurse. Thank you so much, Rachel, for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
I'm just so excited for our listeners to hear about what services you offer and how you got started, all the things. But first, kind of tell me what led into starting your business. Like, where did your path start in healthcare?
Yeah. So for starters, I'm a Nashville native. I'm born and raised native Nashvilleian. I'm one of the few rare unicorns. And then I went to college at UT Knoxville, went to their nursing school there. And right out of nursing school, I immediately went into helping moms and babies. So I started out in labor and delivery. And then after that, I did the mother baby floor, NICU, lactation. So I've been taking care of moms and babies. This year will be 20 years of nursing, which has been so fun. And when I worked in the hospital, I was in the hospital for 15 years. I don't know if many of you remember the walk out the door with your newborn to go to the car, but as a nurse, we had to either walk the mom or wheel the mom in the wheelchair out of the hospital doors to the car, make sure the newborn got strapped in the car seat, and kind of watch them drive off into the sunset. And so many, especially first time moms, looked terrified. They would look at me, look at the baby, cry on my shoulder. And I just kept thinking, I cannot send these moms out the door and home with the thought of they have no help. Usually their follow up appointment is, 6 weeks or, 3 to 4 weeks at their pediatrician. So I just had this burden on my heart that these moms needed help at home. And I remember when my grandmother had babies, I remember her saying she was in the hospital around like 10 days. So she had plenty of time to recover and sleep and rest and kind of figure out her newborn. Well, nowadays you're there maybe 24 to 72 hours. So they're kind of kicking you out the door. You still have a big pad in your panties. You're leaking. You have this screaming baby who you haven't quite figured out breastfeeding. So that is the why and the reason why I started my company was this walk out of the hospital doors and just feeling so terrible that I was sending these people out the door. So in 2016, I sat down at my computer and I Googled how to start a business. I had no idea that anything like my business existed. Once I started researching, then I found out and learned that bigger cities like New York and LA had like postpartum doula companies. But I had no idea that that existed. So, did a lot of research, and from the ground up, I started with one mom and one or two nurses, and we just all kind of, I didn't know what I was doing, but we just showed up at her house and helped out and did laundry and helped feedings and helped her breastfeed. And so that's kind of how we all got started. My company, we've been in business 8.5 years this year. I now have, I think it is 25 neonatal RNs. We've had upwards of 30 to 31 RNs at one point. We kind of downsized a little bit, but we basically do in-home care for new moms. We help them with their newborns. So that's kind of what I do, why I started, and a little bit about my background.
That's huge. I wish I would have had that for my first, after all three of mine, honestly, but definitely after my first, because I remember that being pushed out to the car and the terrifying ride home with the infant, and then just thinking, I have to keep this baby alive, and there is no handbook for it.
Yes, and I've heard a lot of parents say it's kind of funny, not funny, but they all go, "What have we done?" Like
Right,
I hear
right.
that a lot. What have we done? And one of my friends said, he goes, "You can't give it back." So it's a heavy time in life. It's a beautiful, wonderful, awesome, miraculous time, but it comes with a lot of stress and a lot of hormones and sleeplessness. And so if, I love being able to kind of, you know, insert myself and help people in those early days with their newborns. So
Well, and I think obviously the more support we have, the better. And so many people don't live near their families. I think obviously in like the olden days, people lived in community and we just don't have that as much anymore. So having some,
right. I was gonna
yeah,
say, especially in Nashville, for some reason, again, I grew up here. It used to be kind of a tiny town. Now it's booming. a lot, I would say most people that we take care of are not from here and they're transplants that, so they don't have their mom, or their mom will come in home for a week and then she'll go back home, or their husband goes back to work and they're stuck at home with a baby with no help. So there are a lot of transplants here without support or with little support. And that is very hard to not
Oh,
have support with any baby.
it really is. You're exhausted, like you said, the sleepless nights trying to figure out how to feed everybody in your family and just adjust.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what we don't know, we honestly just don't know. There's so much education when we're pregnant. I know we're trying to take it all in, but there's so much, and we're so thoughtful about, well, what does a contraction feel like? What does a birth feel like? And then we're not thinking those first steps when we get home.
Yeah, a lot of people, again, I've been doing this 20 years, and I feel like a lot of people prepare, like they prepare the nursery and they do the baby shower and the gender reveal, and then they really focus on labor. But then they totally forget about newborn education, postpartum. I think they don't, I don't know if they don't think that they're going to need help, but that is definitely a forgotten about chapter with a new baby that I
Yeah,
have seen.
I agree. I didn't realize your team was so big too. That's wonderful.
Yeah. We've
Yeah.
grown. Again, we started out with just a few and then it just the demand, we can't keep up. We're fully booked until January and then we're booking into May of next year because our clients will usually stay with us 2 to 3 months. So yeah, we stay very busy.
So when should someone reach out to your company? Right when they find out they're pregnant?
Yes. It sounds kind of funny, all jokes aside, but I mean, I've had several moms call me the second that they have a positive pregnancy test. I've had several call me before they call their spouse, because we do book up. I have a lot of moms. I mean, I had a mom call last night. She has a 2 week old, and we're fully booked. And I feel terrible when I'm like, we don't have, we have no one. We're fully booked. So the sooner the better. You can't be too early. So most of our families will book very early on in pregnancy.
Okay. And then what does like a day in the life look like for one of your staff who goes to?
Yeah. So most of our business that we do, and most of our care is the night nursing care. I'd say that's 90% of what we do. So what that is my team, we're all experienced neonatal nurses. We've all been hospital nurses for at least 5 years, but most of us have 20 or more years. One of my nurses has 50 years of hospital nursing experience, but we show up at your house. You hand us your baby, you go to sleep. My goal is for the parents to get as much rest as possible, especially the mom, and we take over care from there. So if the mom is breastfeeding, what we will do is we will stretch the baby and let them sleep a few hours and then bring that baby changed and ready to feed. So the mom will sit up, breastfeed, go right back to sleep. If they are bottle feeding, we will do the bottles all night for them. We also do baby laundry, we do dishes, clean bottles, clean breast bump parts, baby baths, and we work on getting the baby on a good feeding schedule. We do gentle sleep training. So I always say we can't promise it, but most of our babies are sleeping all night and through the night by the time we're done around 8 to 10 weeks. So we
That,
usually leave them happy campers with the baby that's sleeping well, and that's kind of what we do.
that's amazing. Yeah. So are there different lengths of contracts that people book with you? How does that kind of look?
Yeah, so the minimum requirement is for a family to book at least 6 total shifts with us. But most, and what I've seen over the years of doing this, what's most beneficial is usually 2 to 3 nights a week spread out. That way you have like a night with us and then a few nights on your own, then we're back. And most families have ended up using us for around 8 to 10 weeks. If they book less than that, then typically they're needing and asking for more shifts, and we usually don't have more shifts. And if it's over 8 to 10 weeks, it's overkill. At that point, everybody's good. So 3 nights a week for 8 to 10 weeks is typical for how long we book with a family.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Okay. What are some of the most common questions or concerns you get from new parents?
The biggest questions, the two biggest questions we get are breastfeeding questions and newborn sleep questions. Those are just the two resounding things we get. If mom's having breastfeeding questions or issues or can't quite figure it out, which even if you've had 5 kids, I still feel like you have questions because every baby's different. So we help with basic lactation, and then we also have a lactation nurse that I refer out if there are like major issues. And then for sleep, we work on sleep training. A lot of moms have a problem getting their baby into a good routine or having good sleep hygiene and learning how to use the sound machine and how to put their baby in the swaddle. So we kind of train our families how to do that. So when we're not there, they can figure out the nights a little bit better, just like we were there.
I'm so glad you touched on the feeding, especially with multiple children. My third had a tongue tie, and I didn't have any trouble nursing till that third. And they
Hmm.
just sent me home from the hospital, and I was like, I need help. They're like, you're fine. Third time mama. And I got home and it was miserable. And then you're trying to seek out your own help. So having someone there that's knowledgeable and has resources, it's
Hmm.
huge. Yeah.
Yeah, and as far as lactation, I always tell parents, even if things are going well, it's always good to have a lactation consultant just come over, do an assessment, check the latch. They can weigh the baby and see how much your baby weighs and how much they're getting at the breast. It's just a good investment to kind of do a check-in and a once over once you're home from the hospital or birth center.
Yeah. And I think like decreasing the fear for new moms because we don't know what's normal a lot of times,
Hmm.
And so having an experienced nurse there to be like, this is okay. This is normal.
Yeah. One thing I've noticed, I've been a nurse since before social media and now with social media, so I've seen both worlds. Um, and the internet's fantastic. We get so many great resources from there. However, I feel like with new moms, it's caused a lot of anxiety because, like you just said, no one knows really know. They don't know where to look. They don't know who the expert is. There could be a person that's a mom that's just posting and it's her opinion with her, what she's lived with her babies. So I think it is really, really important when you are looking up any information on your newborn to make sure it is an expert resource who's had experience, not just some random person that's gone viral because they may not be giving you the correct or the right information. I know I teach an in-home newborn class, and a lot of times I'll go over and parents will show me some little weird thing, and I'm like, "Did you get that off Instagram? Because that is not correct." So
Yes.
it's important to find the experts in the world whenever you're looking for information online.
This is such a soapbox of mine because now the pelvic floor is kind of in the conversation, and people come to me so fearful of movement, of things that might be wrong with them that are actually not wrong with them, because they hear it on social media
Yeah.
yeah. So it's hard. I'm like, yes, the information's finally getting out there, but at the same time, so much fear is getting out there and misinformation too.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And information overload. I think it's nice to find maybe one or two resources and just follow them.
Mm.
There's no like the other day I had an issue with my computer and I was so overwhelmed trying to just find a person to help me online. And so pick a resource or two and just block the rest out. And then it'll be a little bit easier, you know, journey for you with your baby.
I like that. That's a great tip.
Hmm.
What's some of the outdated thinking that you're hearing from new parents that you're like, oh, that's what we used to do a long time ago. New information has come up.
Yeah. Well, one thing which, if we ever have grandparents in the house, if we have, the family and then the mom's in town or she's there, my mom did this too. But all they know is what they did in the 80s and 90s raising us, so like I slept on my stomach with 10 quilts in the bed. Well, that is not safe anymore. So, you know, trying to teach grandparents, especially on what is new, what is safe, what is outdated, like sleep sacks. Some of the grandmothers have never seen a sleep sack before. It's a pretty new thing. And so teaching them that that's a good thing to use while the baby's asleep.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. I didn't even think about that as the older generation having completely different things in mind.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Do y'all have other resources besides lactation that y'all offer to your clients? If they say, especially if they call you early, do you have good relationships with doulas for prenatal care, different things like that?
Yes, actually, just before I got on the podcast with you, I had a mom text me a car seat question.
Mhm.
And so I'm going to refer her out to a car seat expert who can help her with the base because legally I can't help with the car seat base, putting it in the car. So, yes, we get questions every day, all day from anything like pelvic floor health, lactation, newborn sleep. And actually, y'all may or may not know this, but I have my own podcast where we do interview the experts in each field. So, the ones I just mentioned, and we have a dog walker, a lady who helps incorporate your dog into life with a newborn. We have pediatricians, we have OBGYN. So yeah, we're constantly referring people to all different chiropractic care is a big one. Um, those are the ones I can think of off the
Yeah.
top of my head. Yep.
That's great. I think we need resources. Again, like you said, not overwhelming people, but it's nice to know that there are people to go to if you have a concern.
Hmm.
Yeah. And this is a tight community here in Nashville. There's a lot
It
of,
is.
I've been here 13 years and just seeing this women's health, maternal health field grow over 13 years has been unbelievable. Yeah.
Yes, we do have a really good little bubble and really nice community. Oh, another thing I just thought of is postpartum mental health. A
Oh,
lot of moms have anxiety or depression, and so we help refer a lot of those moms out to a counselor who specializes in that.
that's huge. Yes.
Hmm.
Okay. You mentioned the podcast. How long have you been doing the podcast?
I think it's 3 years, and the reason I started it was just because what you're saying. I had moms asking me like, "Hey, do you know of a good pelvic floor specialist?" And I'm like, "Let me find one." So I have just interviewed every single person that I get asked about.
Mhm.
And that way, those moms can go on there and just listen to their info and then contact them if they need to.
I love it.
Yep.
That's how exactly how I started my podcast was interviewing and Nashville providers. And then the pandemic happened and I turned into just a one-man show, I feel like. But I think that's a great way to get people's voice out there. And so people can say, oh, this person, they're relatable to me. They live in this part of town. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
great.
Absolutely.
That's great. Tell me some other services that y'all offer.
Yes. So let me get my list. I know I sent you a little list here. Okay.
Yeah.
So our main service that we offer, which I already mentioned, is our um, nursing in-home care. So we do the night nursing care. We also offer daytime care. So
Okay.
some moms want us to come over during the day and just hand off the baby, take a nap, take a shower, just get a break. So we occasionally do day shifts, which those are great. Um, I also offer an in-home baby 101 class, and we do these all the time. So if you're a first-time expectant parent, like I just said, a lot of those parents will take a labor class or a breastfeeding class and forget the newborn education class. So what I do with this is I come over about a month before your due date. I bring a baby doll and we go through everything about newborn care you'd ever want to know. It's a very intensive class. We go through swaddling, diapering, doing a newborn bath. We go through the breast pump and car seat. We go through all of your baby equipment in your nursery, and many more things there. If you need to ask questions, we can go through all of that. We talk about what to pack in your hospital bag and your baby registry. So when COVID happened, I had a lot of moms ask if that class was available online, and it wasn't. So I turned that newborn class into an online course. So we have our Newborn Care 101 online course. We've now had families all over the US and in Canada and Puerto Rico, which is a nice way to be able to get to everyone outside of Nashville, like you had mentioned as well. We also offer newborn consults. I'm actually going over this afternoon to a new mom's house. She has a 5 week old that just like won't stop crying. And
Wow.
her pediatrician was like, "Hey, he has colic," and kind of sent her out the door with no help, no tips, nothing. And so I'm going to go over there and help her troubleshoot and show her some tips and show her some, sleep tips and whatnot. And I did one last week as well. So those are really helpful. If you have brought home your baby and you have an issue or concern and you just don't know what to do, a lot of times pediatricians don't have a lot of time to help you with that. So I do newborn consults. And then another fun thing I've just added is our business consults. So a lot of people in different states will call me and say, "Hey, how did you get your business started?" I'm a nurse in Wyoming. And so I've been doing business consults to help nurses learn how to start their nursing businesses.
Oh, this is great. So how long is the Baby 101 class? If you go to someone's house and do this.
So it's 2 hours.
Okay.
And it's the whole 2 hours. And I love it because when I show up, the parents are super anxious. They're kind of shaken. And then by the time I leave, they're like high-fiving each other and they're like, "Woo, we got this. We're so excited. We feel confident. We're ready." So it's so neat to see that transformation of like fear to total confidence and excitement. I've been doing this, since we started the business for 8 years. I've taught it hundreds of times, and it's definitely a really helpful resource.
Yeah, yeah. And you're just empowering parents. I love that.
Hmm.
Yeah. And so online, it's pretty much the same information. They can just log on and do it at their own speed.
Yeah, so it's the exact same information. The perks to the online course are you can break up the videos. You can either watch it all at once, it's about 90 minutes, or you can break it up and kind of watch it at your own pace. Or some moms have told me they love that they watch the videos, then they bring their baby home and rewatch the videos. So maybe they set their phone up on the changing table and they're watching the swaddling video as they're swaddling their newborn. So it's a helpful resource to have that, and you get 1 year access
Can I
to that. Yep.
practice? Okay, that's great.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay, so any hot tips or tricks for parents that you're like, if I say nothing today, I want to get this across?
Yes. Ask for help. Get help wherever you are in the world, whatever that looks like, whether it's your mom, your neighbor, your friend, whether you hire a night nurse or a postpartum doula. Every day, all day, I get messages and emails and phone calls. I got one last night from people who have brought their babies home and they need more support. And by then, most companies are fully booked. So just knowing and being very proactive and knowing ahead of time that you're going to probably need more help than you think you will, not to scare you, but just be aware and have that, you know, have that in your mind that you are going to need more help than you think. Have
Yeah,
that expectation.
I think I always say women are superheroes. We can do it all, but we don't need to. And
Right.
we're healing. We kind of take away that piece. We put ourselves aside once the baby is here and we're like focused on the baby, but we are truly physically, emotionally, mentally still healing from a pregnancy and a delivery. So
Exactly.
getting that,
And be the queen. Like kick back, put your feet up, get
yeah.
help. I have seen our families that do get help, whether it's me or another company, or they just seem to thrive. They just seem to have a much better outcome, and they're happier and they're rested, as rested as can be expected. But I feel like they have a better outcome when they have help.
One of the things that I've seen is guilt in new moms if they have to ask for help. I've had, like you mentioned, the dog walker. I was so excited the first time I heard a mom that had the means to do that. I was like, that's going to take so much off your plate. But then she had guilt. I think people, can you speak to that a little bit? Do you see
Yeah.
that?
Mom guilt is real. Even if you're scrolling Instagram, you're going to have mom guilt because you feel like you're not doing it as good as someone else. So it's just going to be there. I had a mom the other day. I went over for a newborn consult, stay at home mom with a toddler and a newborn. She's drowning. She's just like, this is so much. And I'm like, well, if it makes you feel any better, the people who do ask for help and get help feel guilty about it. So it's kind of like pick your poison. But mom guilt is a real thing. You just have to compartmentalize it and realize that, getting help is going to give you your best benefit. And just try your best to work through the guilt. Maybe if you need to speak to a counselor or a friend. But it's a pretty common thing to feel like you're not enough, you're not doing enough, and especially with social media, looking at what other people are doing. And let me say this too. I've been doing this a long time. I've been in every house in Nashville from normal stay at home mom to celebrity. Everybody has mom guilt. Everybody, there is no secret, easy path to this with a newborn. So just know that the norm is that it's hard and it's a season. It does pass quickly, it isn't forever. And don't beat yourself up, give yourself a pat on the back and know you're an amazing mom.
Oh, I love that. That everybody needs to hear that.
Yeah, it's true.
It
Moms
is.
are superheroes, it's a big deal, so don't
Yeah.
forget that.
I love that. And I mean, why not accept the help if you can? Because it's just going to set you and your baby up for better success.
Right. Another thing I tell our families is, there's an expense to getting postpartum help. It's not cheap. Especially, our company, we're nurses, we're not doulas, we're actual neonatal nurses. And so I look at it as an investment. You're investing in your postpartum time. A lot of our families, their in-laws will gift them our care as part of their baby shower gift. So if you look at it as an investment, not an expense, I think that's a great way to see that you're investing in your mental and physical and emotional well-being.
I hear this a lot when I'm recommending other providers, what the cost. And I said, you can forego the baby stroller, the baby swing. There's so many things that you really don't need, but investing in the support and the help for prenatal and postpartum, it's critical.
Hmm.
Yes.
We had a mom who had two older kids and then was pregnant with twins. And for her baby shower gift, all she asked for was night nursing care. She's like, I don't want any onesies. I don't want any diapers. I just want night nursing care. So, yes.
I fully support that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, your name is gold out in the community. I can tell you
Oh,
that. Everybody speaks
thanks.
so highly of you and your team. The
Thanks.
reviews are outstanding. So you've
Thank
built a
you.
beautiful business.
Thank you. And I always say I do have to give credit. I'm just one human, I'm one person, and my team is everything to me. I have an admin team who keeps their train running down the tracks, and my team of nurses are just amazing. Many of them I've worked with forever. So I have to give kudos to my awesome team as well, but thank you.
Yeah. I think one thing I didn't realize is that all of your employees are nurses that go out into the homes.
Yeah, we're all experienced neonatal
Yeah,
RNs.
that's great. That's
Yeah.
great.
So you're literally bringing home a hospital nurse with you, bringing one home from the hospital.
Yeah, talk about calming fears right
Yeah.
there. It's wonderful.
Yes.
I love it. I love it. Okay, is there anything else you want to share with the audience before we tell them how to contact you?
I don't think so. I think we've covered a lot of really great things today, and I can't say enough great things about you as well. I know you've helped many, many, many of our moms, and your name also is golden in the community. So thanks for all you do, because one thing postpartum a lot of moms don't expect or sign up for or think will happen is our pelvic floor issues. And those things do come up and they're embarrassing. And so thanks for all you do to help our mamas get back to as normal as possible.
I appreciate it. I always say it's my
Yeah.
life's work. I love what I do, and
And you're good at it.
thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you. It's certainly a passion. And, my other passion is education and just getting the word out there, not just pelvic floor, but what else people need to help make them the healthiest they can be, pregnancy, postpartum, and beyond, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Tell people how they can contact you if they want your care.
Yeah, so the best way is on our website, thenewbornnurse.com. And our email address is on there. And then we also have Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. But all of our handles are at the newborn nurse. And we have a little sheep logo. You can't miss us. It's a little cute little white sheep.
I love it. I love it. Easily recognizable. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll have all of that in the show notes. I'm sure I'll do Instagram and everything post so everybody can
Yay.
too.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for just sharing your time, your vision, everything with us. It means a
Thanks
lot.
for having me today. I appreciate it.
Means a lot to me and my community. I think we
Oh,
just got to get this stuff out there for people. Again,
absolutely.
people don't know what they don't know. They don't even know the services that are out there or that they will need. So
Right? Like I
you,
always say, knowledge is power. I know
it
people say
really
it, but it's so true.
It is so true. Yeah.
Hmm.
And it's true after we have a baby, we have baby brain still and we're so tired. So we can't even think. We may have heard at some point we need something and we're like, I can't even remember what I need or I don't know what I need. So
Right.
people in our corner that can tell us what we need is huge.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Well, thanks everybody for listening. I will see y'all soon. Thank you so much, Rachel.
Thanks, Amy.